with you today. Please meet my friend named Pup, my gardener Robbie Talk. Now come along, we've got some games to play. In the land of Adiboo, there's a zillion different things that we can do. Explore our world in here. Oh, it's going to make you smile from ear to ear.
Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about something that probably most people generally don't know about, and that is Adibou. Have you ever heard of it? I bet you probably haven't, but Adibou is an educational video game series that was originally developed by Corktel Vision, and so far it's been defunct for quite a long while. The last game came out in 2009. And yeah, it kind of ran from the very, very first Adibou game, which came out in 1991, and then the very last one in 2009. And yeah, it's just literally like an educational video game series. That's all it is. Where you have this main character called Adibou, and he goes around and just goes on little adventures and that. Now, the franchise did expand into other territories. Had comic books, had music, television series. Yeah, it's literally a series which follows a young boy who teaches children about a variety of topics, including nature, maths, and language, and is based in a fictional world of Celestia. So yeah, it's a now you might be wondering, why the hell are you talking about it, Bio? Well, I have fond memories of Adibou. When I was a young lad, I had Adibou's Magical Playland, which by far, in my opinion, probably the best. Probably the best. I haven't played the other Adibou PC games, like Numbers and Puzzles and Animals and Planets and whatever. I would love to, but they're generally quite hard to find nowadays. But yeah, I have very fond memories of playing Magical Playland. I played the hell out of it. And I thought, why not? Let's have a look at some Adibou games. So, full disclaimer though, right at the beginning. I'm going to be showing you footage of 3 Adibou games that I recorded back in 2017. I did actually a full playthrough of Adibou and Paz Real Secret, and a full playthrough of Adibou and the Energy Thieves. If you want to check those out, they're on Byron the Shadow Realm. And this time around, I actually had a look at the more modern Adibou games where they changed his look. I had a look at one that was related to the old Adibou on the PlayStation 1, and 2 others which are based on the new Adibou on the Nintendo DS and Wii. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Let's jump straight into it, shall we? And if you're wondering why I'm using Crash Bandicoot music in this video, it is literally because the lack of availability for Adibou music. And like, for example, the intro you saw at the beginning there was taken from my my Let's Play of Adibou's Magical Playland, so... So yeah, that's the reason why I'm using Crash Bandicoot music. Now, the first game I'm going to be talking about is, of course, going to be the game which I spent the most time with when I was younger. The only Adibou game I played when I was younger, in all fairness, and that's Adibou's Magical Playland. It's a great game. It's a really good game, and it's a game that even works nowadays. I'm not even joking. You can put this game, if you are able to get yourself a copy of this game, which is quite easy to get a hold of nowadays if you just Google it. Generally speaking, there's like a site called Abandonware which has it on there, which again, if it's Abandonware, at the end of the day, this is a defunct series. It's been defunct for a long old time now, you know, well over 10 years. So I think it's fair game at that point. But yes, what I'm trying to get at is this game runs really easily on Windows 10. No issues whatsoever. Literally, you could just install it as per usual. Click on the exe, boom, you're in Adibou land. You're in the Magical Playland. It's that easy. Some other games, just like some games from that, you gotta realize this game came out in 1996. Most games that came out in 1996 struggle like fuck to run on modern day systems. But this one, no issues. Now, Adibou's Magical Playland is as what you'd expect from a game of this type. Is basically you're just a player. You can create your own little avatar, which is kind of cool, you know, and make him look as ridiculous as possible. And then you get thrown into Adibou land. And you can do whatever you want. Whatever is available on the screen, you can do. You want to go and grow vegetables? You can do that. You can go and grow vegetables, and then you can harvest those vegetables and use them to then as ingredients in baking cakes. Yeah. You can also go and grow flowers, harvest the flowers and show them and have them presented in Adibou's house. You can even use them in pictures and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of cool how you can mix things up in that. You want to, talk to the robot. He'll plant a seed in the ground. It'll grow into a tree, and you can harvest the fruit, and then you can use the fruit in the cakes as well. There's a lot of different things you can do. So you have this first central screen, and already you can go grow vegetables, which is simple. You just grab seeds, put them in the ground. You can ask old Robit or whatever his name is to come over and water the vegetables and the flowers and whatnot. Yeah, you can put out like birdhouses, and you can then and hives, and to give old Doggo a doghouse. I don't think that really serves anything. The birds don't really serve anything. The honey, I think you can go and collect the honey. I can't remember. It was a long time ago that I played this game. But this is just I haven't even reviewed the footage of me playing the game. This is just based on memory alone. Based on memory alone. No reference material. Keep in mind, last time I played it was 2017. Then you go into the house. Also, by the way, you can also change like the color of the house. You can make the house look like an igloo. You can make the house look like a thatch house, and you can do that for the dog house, the bird house, and the hive, which is kind of cool as well. And then you go into the house itself, and when you go into the house itself, you have other activities. Also, I forgot to mention, when you're in like the first screen, which is just outside of Adibou's house, you can click on Adibou, you can click on the dog, you can click on different areas of the screen, and little animations will happen. There's this little monster, glob monster, whatever they want to call it, comes in every now and then, and you can scare it away. For example, you click on the water, Adibou will go and fill up his water soaker, and you can then use that against the glob monster to get rid of him. So yeah, and so now going into the house. In the house you have a lot of different things. You can paint pictures, you can make like scenes where you can like pick a scene and you put things down and things will do things. It's yeah, I know I'm not explaining it greatly. You got a little radio, you play some tunes. You can go click on the TV and watch little animations, including the one you saw in the intro. That was one of the animations. There's just like so many things you can do in the game. You can go and obviously bake cakes, and you can make loads of different types of cakes. There's actually quite a few different recipes of different cakes that you can make. It's just so much that you can do in this game. At least that's how it felt when I was a kid. When I was a kid playing this game on my old Dell Windows 95 computer or whatever. It was Windows 95 computer. I was like, holy hell, I couldn't believe the amount of stuff that you could do, and you could customize and play around with and do pretty much whatever the hell you wanted in the game. It was a completely new experience for me. Having the N64 and PlayStation 1, being able to go around and create your own things. It's not like I had Mario Paint when I was younger. It's not like nowadays where it's pretty much a given that you have those kind of things in games and you can do those kinds of things. It was a completely new experience for me, and that's why I fondly remember Magical Playland so much. It's a really, really, really cool game for a game that's aimed at children. And even now, like when I played it back in 2017, I was having a blast. I ended up playing it for about an hour and a half. And I had a real good blast with it. Anyway, I've talked about Magical Playland enough, so I've given you a kind of general idea of what the game's like. It's real fun, but it might be, if you're not got the nostalgia like me for Adibou, you probably be like, it's okay. But yeah, I really enjoyed Magical Playland when I was a kid. Anyway, let's move on to the other Adibou games I happen to play in later years. Next, we'll be looking at one of the Adibou PlayStation 1 games, which is there's two games. They had PlayStation 1 and PS2 game, which were actually released in English, whereas most Adibou games were released in French, and that was pretty much it. Like some of the early era Adibou PC games were released in English, but when it came to consoles, we only got two. We got Adibou and Paz Real Secret on the PlayStation 1, and Adibou and the NEG Thieves on PlayStation 2, and we'll be looking at both of those games. But let's jump into Adibou and Paz Real Secret, the Adibou PlayStation 1 game next. Next up, we have Adibou and Paz Real's Secret. a PlayStation 1 exclusive Adibou game that was both developed and published by Cocktail Vision in 2003. And it's a 3D platformer. Because, of course, you know, what other direction are you going to take Adibou if you're going to make him 3D than make him a 3D platformer? And what have I got to say about Adibou and Paz Real Secret, considering I actually did a full playthrough of this game back in 2017. A full playthrough. The game is literally an hour and a half. That's literally it. And I actually managed to finish the game in one sitting. I'm not even joking when I say that. I played through the entire game in one sitting. And what have I got to say about it? I know I keep like postponing what I'm going to say. It's a pretty mediocre platformer. It's quite easy. It's not difficult. There isn't really much variation in the gameplay. You do have a few little things here and there to spice things up, like the boss battles, and some of the stages are different than the usual 3D platforming. But they control very similar to the platforming controls, so it's like it doesn't really make a difference. And it's cool that it spices up. You got these FMV sequences showing you the story, something along the lines of, I think this, I don't know, it's really strange. I think there's this creature called Paziral, which I don't know who the hell this is, and he basically is in trouble, so Adibou helps him, and that's basically the story. And that's Adibou and Paz Real Secret. I have nothing else to say about the game, if I'm honest. I really don't. It is that simple. Do I recommend it as a platform for someone to play? Sure, yeah. The controls are pretty solid for being very simplistic. But then again, you know, the platforming isn't entirely difficult. So, yeah. If you like platformers, I don't think you're going to really have an issue with it. And it's fine for what it is. Next up, we have the Adibou PlayStation 2 game known as Adibou and the Energy Thieves, which, again, both published and developed by Cocktail Vision and was released in 2004. Now, this game actually came out for the PlayStation 2 and PC, and I believe there was a GameCube version of the game that was planned, but it was ultimately cancelled. And the PlayStation 2 version of this game is a bit strange, mainly because it also has demos for a Crash Bandicoot and Spyro game. It has a demo for Crash to Insanity and a demo for Spyro A Hero's Tale. I don't know how that came about, but yeah, it's there. Did you know Adibou is a part of the Spyro and Crash universe? No, I'm joking. But that's the arguments people had back in the day, didn't they? When they had the Spyro demo and the Crash demo, it's like, oh, they're the same world. So what have I got to say about Adibou and the Energy Thieves? It's just the same. It's pretty much the same as Paz Real Secret, just there's a little bit more variation in the stages. And there's probably actually a lot more variation in the stages, but it's, once again, just a 3D platformer. And that's really it. Does it control well? Yes, it controls fine. Is it really easy? Yes, it's really easy. How long is the game? It's an hour and a half. Thereabouts. I play through the entire game in its entirety in one sitting, just like I did with Paz Real Secret. At least this time around, you're actually playing as Adibou. I forgot to mention you play as Paziral in Adibou and Paz Real Secret, which kind of not an Adibou game if you're playing as him, right? But in Energy Thieves, you're actually playing as Adibou, and that's it really. It's fine. It functions absolutely fine. It has FMV sequences and cutscenes and stuff, and it's just, it's okay, I guess. That's all I have to say about Adibou and the Energy Thieves. It's okay. Next up, we have another Adibou game for the PlayStation 1, but in French. Adibou et l'ombre Verte. And doesn't this look very, very familiar? From what I can understand, this is a PlayStation 2 port of Adibou's Magical Playland. I'm not even joking. It literally is a port. Now, don't get me wrong. A few things are missing. Like, you can't grow as many different types of flowers or vegetables. And there isn't as much activities as there are in the house. But still, this is... I didn't even know that I was going to be walking into this when I decided to play this game. I didn't know it was going to be a port of Magical Playland, and it was a welcome surprise. I was like, hey, why couldn't this game have been released in English? Because I would have bought myself a copy, and yeah, and probably did a full playthrough of that. But yeah, it's like I said, it's basically a port of Magical Playland. Of course, I don't think it can hold as much as a PC CD-ROM, so a few things are missing here and there. Like, I don't think you can paint the houses here, the house or anything else here. But yeah, it's still pretty cool. But there is one thing that kind of threw me off, and that's, you see the signpost I just clicked on down at the bottom there? Now, before, I think that led to the Numbers, Mazes, and Puzzles disc. But in here, it leads somewhere completely different. The first thing you see is a car, and you're like, what? Adibou has a car? And it is an actual, like, cars, you know, it has a face and that, and you can paint it and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then you actually start driving, and you think, like, what? I'm in this 3D world, in a 3D car, driving around? What's going on? I'm driving around Adibou's city, town? And it took me aback, if I be completely honest. I was driving around and I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, so not only is it, so it does port Magical Playland, it also adds its own thing in here with driving and whatnot. And I think probably driving safety is one of the things it adds, because at one point I get to a completely different area featuring a traffic light and stuff. And I think again, it's in French, so I don't understand, but I think he's explaining how traffic lights work. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I was really taken aback by this being a port of Magical Playland. And yeah, it plays fine. You know, it's a bit strange considering you still got the cursor and the little loading hourglass thing. It's like, okay, it's like a PC game. It's really, on PS1, it's really weird. But it's really cool. And it took me by surprise how different it was. Like, again, I just thought it was going to be a straight up port of Magical Playland, but then I realized you got this car stuff and that, and I was like, wow, that's pretty neat. But yeah, I was very surprised by this. Now we look at two of the reimagined Adibou games. The first is an Adibou DS game, and that is Adibou, joue avec les letters et les nombres. Yeah, I fucking butchered that. Basically, there's a lot of Adibou. This is the new reimagined Adibou. And there's quite a few different games for the new reimagined Adibou. I choose to look at two of them, one for the DS and one for the Wii. Now, the one for the DS, as you could probably guess, the letters and nombres, it's basically about letters and numbers. I think it's teaching kids about letters and numbers. You kind of like just click on these little mini games like this where you just click on letters and create words and stuff. And that's, you know, it. It's unlike before where there was actually a game there. This time around, it actually doesn't feel like there's an actual game here, and it's more just little shitty mini games. Like this was teaching you about numbers, and then for some reason there's a game where you can go and collect fruit as an ant. You can just draw a little like pathway for the ant to collect fruit. But yeah, Adibou on the DS, not particularly good, but I guess it's fine for kids. But it's definitely less imaginative than the older Adibou games, let me tell you that much. And finally, we have the Adibou Wii game, known as Adibou et les Saisons Magiques. Again, I'm butchering that. Basically, I think it translates to as Adibou and the Magical Seasons. And it is probably the worst Adibou game I've ever played. Literally, this is the only game I saw. I assume there's supposed to be some kind of mini games, like the DS game in here somewhere. But the only one I saw, the only one I actually played, because I'll get to what I was doing, right? But this is the only one that I played. And you play this mini game every time you enter or leave the house. If you go into the garden, you play this game from the house, you play this game. You go from the garden to the house, you play this game. And I think it gives you stuff. You click on bubbles, and when the meter's full, you get a bag of something. So say, look, I'm now in the house. But yeah, so basically, here's the garden, and you just go and click on things. Literally, you click on things, and stuff happens. Like, I click on, I don't know, the slide there, and something will happen. I click on the wheelbarrow, something happened. I click on the bush, something happened. Look, click on that bush, old Oogie Boogie. Monster comes up, you shake your Wii remote, and then he just jumps from one bush to the other. And that's the game. That's it. I couldn't discover any other mini-game than the one you just saw. Everything else was either in the garden, clicking on random. I clicked on every object in the garden, nothing. Clicked on every single object in the house. Nothing. Thought about clicking on the little pole, the fireman's pole you've got there or whatever, hoping that that would lead to some other part of the house. No. No, nothing worked. You see the bed moving there? You click on the bed and it's just another animation plays. That's literally it. That's literally it. That's the whole game. I, again, don't know if there is any other mini games besides the one that you've just seen with him clicking bubbles, because I clicked everywhere in both areas, both the house and the garden. Nothing. No other mini games triggered. The only mini game was that one, and that was triggered when you leave the house to go into the garden or to go from the garden into the house. It is a complete waste of existence, this game. Complete waste. So yeah, I don't know why this exists. Maybe there is more mini games, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but if that's the case, you know, if I'm having issues, children would have issues as well playing this, let's be honest. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, to me, trash. Absolute trash. And that's it. That's all the Adibou games that I wanted to play, I was willing to play. So yeah, I was happy back in the time when I did do a long play of Magical Playland. I thoroughly enjoyed having that long play. You know, I wouldn't have played the game for an hour and a half if I didn't enjoy it. And I was surprised back then when I played through and finished both the Adibou and PS1 and PS2 game when I played them, Paz Real Secret and the NG Thieves. I didn't think they were going to be that short, and they were really easy, so yeah, played through them. The French games were not as spectacular, but I think it's more of just the old Adibou, the old art style Adibou. His games are just really good. They're actually not too bad. Like the PlayStation 1 Adibou game in French, that was really good. It was a port of Magical Playland, but it added content that would only be exclusive to the PlayStation 1 version, making you want to buy the PlayStation 1 version just for that extra content, that different content. So yeah, it's pretty good. But then you had the reimagined Adibou, and I personally think, just based on what I played from the DS and Wii game, that the old reimagined Adibou didn't really have very good games, and they were really, like, I don't know, maybe for infants, I don't know. You know, you see that 3+ rating, and then you play the game and you think, I think actually a one-year-old could probably play this. I'm joking, obviously. But yeah, I was really disappointed with how trash the reimagined Adibou games were. But anyway, I enjoyed looking at Adibou anyway, in general. You know, it holds a special place in my heart from when I was younger, playing Magical Playland, and I enjoyed playing them. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.